The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for thousands of years. From the glowing nebulae of the outer rim to the frozen moons near the galactic core, its flag flew above every world it had conquered. No species had ever dared to resist it for long. Every planet that tried to fight was quickly silenced. The Empire's fleets were unmatched in number and technology. At the center of this vast power stood the Imperial High Council, a gathering of the galaxy's most powerful alien leaders. They believed that nothing new could surprise them anymore. After all, they had seen the rise and fall of hundreds of civilizations. But one quiet day, everything changed. An exploration probe patrolling the dark regions near the Orion Arm sent back strange readings. Its sensors detected massive energy signatures, unlike anything in the Council's archives. These signatures came from a fleet of unknown ships. The probe tried to scan them, but every attempt was blocked by a smooth wall of static interference. Then, the signal cut off. At first, the Council thought it was a malfunction, but when a second and third probe vanished the same way, worry began to spread among the members. Admiral Zorvac, the proud commander of the Imperial 7th Fleet, stood before the Council. His scaled skin shimmered in the dim blue light of the chamber. "My lords," he said confidently, "this new species must be examined. If they threaten the Empire, we will crush them before they learn to stand." The Council agreed. They gave Zorvac permission to investigate. To him, it was another chance to prove his strength, another easy victory to add to his long record of conquests. He saluted with pride. "By the time I return, their ships will belong to us and their world will bow before the Empire. The journey begins." The 7th Fleet launched within a single galactic rotation. Over 2,000 warships jumped into hyperspace, cutting through the void like silver arrows. Their destination, the unknown region where the mysterious fleet had appeared. The journey took days. During the long hours, the Imperial officers discussed what kind of race they were about to meet. Some imagined primitive creatures, perhaps still using chemical rockets. Others laughed at the idea of anything intelligent living so far from the civilized galactic core. Zorvac sat alone in his command chamber, watching the star map glow before him. "No matter who they are," he said softly, "they will learn their place." His communication officer interrupted his thoughts. "Admiral, we are approaching the last known coordinates. All ships are in position." Zorvac straightened. "Excellent. Prepare first contact protocol. Let's see what kind of fools think they can hide from the Empire." First contact, the void ahead shimmered. Suddenly, dozens, no, hundreds of dark shapes appeared on the sensors. The fleet slowed. The Imperial bridge crew stared in silence as the shapes took form. Each ship was enormous, larger than any cruiser the Empire had ever built. Their surfaces were smooth, without visible engines or weapon mounts. They glowed faintly with a soft blue light, like oceans reflecting a distant sun. "Scan them," Zorvac ordered. His science officer tapped at his console. "Trying, sir, but their hulls are blocking our systems. I can't penetrate their shields. It's like they're made of pure static." Zorvac frowned. "Increase power to sensors." "I already did, Admiral." "It's not working. The interference is everywhere." "Then send a message," Zorvac growled. "Let's see if they understand who we are." A transmission was sent. A standard Imperial greeting mixed with a demand for surrender. The message was simple. "You are now in the territory of the Galactic Empire. Identify yourselves and prepare to be boarded." The crew waited for a reply. Seconds passed, then minutes. The alien fleet didn't respond. They didn't even move. Finally, after almost 10 minutes, a short signal arrived. It wasn't a voice, just a burst of static that turned into faint. Laughter. Zorvac's head lifted sharply. "Laughter? Are they mocking us?" His officers looked confused. Sounds like it," one of them admitted quietly. The Admiral's pride burned. "They dare mock the Empire?" He shouted. "Charge weapons! Prepare a warning shot!" The human side far away. Aboard the human flagship Resolute Dawn, Admiral Sarah Cade watched the incoming alien transmission play on her screen. Around her, the bridge crew worked calmly. "They sent another demand for surrender," said Lieutenant Harper. "Same message, different tone this time." Sarah smiled slightly. "Let me guess, they're angry now?" Harper nodded, trying not to grin. "Yes, ma'am." The Admiral leaned back in her chair. Her gray eyes reflected the faint light from the stars outside. They think we're just another small world, she said. That's how they see everyone else. Commander Liu, her second-in-command, folded his arms. Should we reply? Not yet, Sarah said. Let's see what they do first. Sometimes silence is the best answer. The crew chuckled softly. The tension on the bridge faded into calm focus. Every officer knew their admiral well. She was patient, strategic, and fearless. Outside, the resolute Dawn drifted among hundreds of human warships, the United Fleet of Earth, Mars, and the outer colonies. Each ship carried technology that no alien species had ever seen. Quantum fold reactors, adaptive energy fields, and silent pulse weapons that could erase targets without explosions. Humanity had once been isolated, but after centuries of hidden research and unity, they had risen quietly, watching the galaxy from afar, and now, someone had finally found them. Warning fire back on Zorvak's command ship, a massive cannon powered up, energy gathered at its tip glowing bright yellow. The Admiral's tail twitched with excitement. Fire single plasma lance, he ordered. Let them see the power of the Empire, the weapon fired. A beam of light crossed the void and struck the nearest human ship, the resolute Dawn. For a moment, space rippled like water. Then nothing. The human ship remained untouched. The beam had vanished completely as if it had been swallowed. Zorvak's crew stared in disbelief. Direct hit, Admiral. But there's no damage. The energy was absorbed. Absorbed? Zorvak repeated in shock. How? No one answered. On the human bridge, Lieutenant Harper turned to Admiral Cade. Ma'am, they fired. The plasma just vanished into the field. Sarah nodded slowly. Good. That means the defense matrix is stable. Commander Liu smirked. Should we return fire? Sarah shook her head. Not yet. Let them think we're passive. It'll make what comes next more effective. The crew shared small smiles. There was no fear, only quiet amusement. The calm before the storm. For the next hour, the Imperial fleet circled the human ships, scanning, testing, trying to understand. Every attempt failed. Their sensors showed false readings and their weapons did nothing. Zorvak paced the deck, frustration boiling inside him. How can they block us so completely? He demanded. Even the strongest shields have limits. His science officer stammered. Sir, their energy output is beyond measurable scale. I don't think we can calculate it. The Admiral clenched his fists. No fleet is invincible. Prepare all batteries for full attack. I'll show them the meaning of Imperial strength. Across space, Admiral Cade watched their movements with calm eyes. They're forming attack patterns, she said softly. They're about to make their move. Her officers grew serious. Cade looked around the bridge. Remember, she said, her voice steady, we do not attack first. Humanity will always stand for peace, but if peace is broken, we answer with precision. The crew nodded in perfect unison. Then, she smiled again, a calm, confident smile that made even the youngest officers relax. For now, she said, almost laughing, let them roar. We'll wait, and chuckle. The stars outside shimmered silently. The Empire prepared for war. The humans waited with quiet confidence. And somewhere between those two forces, the galaxy held its breath, unaware that history was about to change forever. The silence of space felt heavy. Two fleets faced each other, one glowing with golden imperial lights, the other dark and calm like shadows among the stars. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Galactic Empire didn't know what it was looking at. Their sensors were blind. Their energy scans returned nonsense. Every reading from the human ships was impossible. Admiral Zorvak stood in front of the great, holographic map aboard his flagship Dominions, Wrath. Thousands of green dots, his ships, surrounded the calm blue icons of the human fleet. How can they stand still? After our warning shot? He demanded. They should be begging for mercy. His first officer, Captain Relar, bowed his head. Perhaps they didn't understand the message, sir. Zorvak's tail flicked in irritation. Then they will understand this one. Prepare for full strike formation. The Empire's confidence. The fleet moved into position like a great wave. Gunships and destroyers lined the front. Behind them floated the heavy carriers and battleships. Energy pulsed between them. The power of 10,000 reactors gathering into one storm. Zorvak raised his clawed hand. Transmit this message to the aliens. A cold voice echoed across the comms, translated into hundreds of languages. Unknown species, you are now considered enemies of the Galactic Empire. You have ignored our warnings. You will be destroyed. When the message reached the humans, it caused no panic, only quiet amusement. The human calm on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn. Admiral Sarah Cade leaned over the table, showing the Imperial formation. They're preparing a full-scale assault, said Commander Liu. Looks like they're serious this time. Sarah nodded. I expected as much. Their pride won't allow them to stop now. Lieutenant Harper adjusted the hologram. That's over 2,000 ships, Admiral. Should we activate the fleet defense systems? Not yet, Sarah replied calmly. Let them make the first move. The human officers exchanged looks of quiet confidence. They had trained for years for this kind of situation. The Galactic Empire might have numbers, but humanity had something far greater: knowledge. Behind them, the main view window showed rows of dark, sleek human ships. Their hulls reflected no light. They looked almost invisible against the stars, like shadows of giants waiting to move. Sarah folded her hands. They don't realize how dangerous it is to attack something they don't understand. The Empire strikes back on the Dominion's wrath. Alarms rang as the Imperial fleet powered up weapons. Thousands of plasma cannons, railguns, and energy lances came alive, glowing like suns. Fire at will, Zorvak shouted. The darkness exploded with light. Beams of plasma and streams of magnetized metal crossed the stars. The Empire unleashed its fury, enough power to burn a planet's surface. But when the blinding storm reached the human ships, something strange happened. The energy simply disappeared. No explosions, no debris, no damage. Every shot vanished as if the human fleet wasn't even there. The impossible defense on the human flagship, calm voices filled the air. Impact detected, reported a young ensign. All energy absorbed by the quantum field. Hull integrity stable. Thank you, Admiral Cade said softly. She didn't even stand from her chair. Commander Liu smiled. Admiral, they just fired enough plasma to vaporize a moon. Should we at least let them know it didn't work? Sarah chuckled quietly. Not yet. Let's see how long it takes before they realize. The human fleet remained silent, unmoving, absorbing every shot without reaction. To the Empire, it looked like their weapons had turned useless. Zorvak slammed his fist against the control table. Impossible. No shield can do that. His science officer's voice trembled. Admiral, the readings make no sense. Their ships aren't using normal energy signatures. It's like their hulls are bending the laws of physics. Zorvak glared at the hologram. No ship can defy the Empire's technology. But deep inside, a small fear began to grow. The human advantage Admiral Cade stood and walked slowly across the bridge. They've exhausted 20% of their main batteries already, she said. Their ships are overheating. Lieutenant Harper smiled. Do we respond, ma'am? Just one signal, Cade said. Open a channel. Moments later, a clear human voice reached every Imperial ship. We do not wish for battle. Turn back. No harm will come to you. The simple message shocked Zorvak's officers. The voice was calm, polite, and strangely human. They speak our language? Reller whispered. Zorvak growled. They're mocking us again. Fire all batteries. Every ship full power. The storm the Empire fired again. The sky filled with streaks of red and gold. Thousands of beams converged on the human fleet. This time, the humans moved. Without sound or visible thrust, the ships glided apart in perfect formation, like dancers in a silent rhythm. Their movements confused every tracking system. They're teleporting? Shouted an Imperial officer. No, said the science team. They're moving faster than our sensors can record. Then the first human ship responded. A single pulse of blue light left its hull. It looked harmless, gentle, even beautiful. But when it touched the nearest Imperial destroyer, the massive ship vanished. Not exploded, just gone as if erased from reality. Zorvak froze. What was that? One by one, more blue pulses appeared. Each time, another Imperial ship disappeared. Entire formations blinked out of existence. The human weapons made no sound, no fire, no destruction. Just quiet flashes and then emptiness. The Empire in panic, the Imperial channels filled with shouting. Ship 42 is gone. We've lost contact with the right flank. Our targeting systems are failing. Zorvak gritted his teeth. Fall back. Regroup. But retreat was impossible. Every command he gave arrived seconds too late. Human ships were already there, surrounding them silently. For the first time in his life, Zorvac understood what it meant to be powerless. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire, was being erased without a trace. Inside the human fleet back on the Resolute Dawn, the human officers watched the Imperial collapse unfold. "They're trying to retreat," Lou reported. "Let them," Sarah said softly. "They've seen enough. Should we destroy the rest, Admiral?" Harper asked. "No," Cade replied. "We only defend. No unnecessary loss." Her tone was calm but firm. Every person on the bridge could feel the quiet strength behind her words. "Open a channel to the surviving ships," she said. A new message echoed through the stars. "This battle is over. Leave this region. Carry this message. Humanity seeks peace, but it will not kneel." The Empire retreats. Zorvac's ship shook violently. The sensors showed empty space where his fleet had once been. Out of 2,000 ships, less than 200 remained. He looked at the screen showing the human flagship. It was motionless, peaceful, and yet it had destroyed his armada without anger, without noise, without effort. Zorvac swallowed his pride. "Transmit retreat orders," he said quietly. "All ships fall back to Imperial space." As the fleet turned away, the human ships didn't follow. They simply drifted in the distance, glowing faintly, like guardians of the unknown. The quiet aftermath when the humans watched the last Imperial ship jump into hyperspace. There was no celebration, no cheering. Admiral Cade stood by the main window looking at the fading trails of light. Commander Liu joined her. "We could have wiped them out, Admiral." "Why let them go?" Sarah smiled gently. "Because victory isn't about destruction, Commander. It's about understanding. Now they know who we are and what we can do," Harper added quietly. "Do you think they'll come back?" "Maybe," Cade said. "But next time they'll come with respect, not arrogance." The crew fell silent. Outside, the stars sparkled peacefully once more. Humanity's fleet began to turn, returning toward the quiet blue light of Earth. In the Empire's hallback on the Imperial capital world, the news of Zorvac's defeat spread faster than light. Billions watched in disbelief as the High Council reviewed the recordings. Ships disappearing, beams vanishing, a silent human fleet standing untouched. The council members argued endlessly, searching for explanations. Some called it sorcery. Others said it was advanced science. But one truth was clear. The Empire had met a power greater than itself. And somewhere deep inside the minds of every Imperial citizen, a question began to grow. Who are the humans? The humans smile far away. Aboard the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Cade looked at the glowing Earth through the window. "They'll be thinking about us for a long time," she said. Commander Liu chuckled. "And what will we do, Admiral?" Sarah smiled. "We'll do what humans always do, explore, learn, and keep smiling when the universe tries to scare us." The crew laughed softly. The stars reflected on their faces like tiny suns. In the endless dark of space, one truth became clear. When the Galactic Empire met humanity's fleet, the humans only chuckled. The stars were calm, but the galaxy itself seemed unsettled. The Galactic Empire had withdrawn from the encounter with the human fleet, yet its leaders could not stop thinking about what had happened. Ships vanished without explosions. Entire formations were erased without a single sound. The sheer power of the humans shook the confidence of an empire that had never known defeat. Admiral Zorvac returned to the Imperial capital aboard the Dominion's Wrath. The ship's hull bore no scratches, but the Admiral's pride had been badly wounded. He was summoned immediately before the High Council. "Explain," demanded the eldest counselor, her many eyes fixed on him. 2,000 ships. Gone, destroyed. How? Zorvac swallowed. "My lords, it is unprecedented. Their ships absorb energy attacks, move in ways our sensors cannot track, and strike silently. It is as if they are not bound by the normal rules of physics," the council murmured, shocked. "You are telling us," another counselor hissed, "that a primitive race has outclassed the Empire's finest fleet?" Zorvac nodded reluctantly. "Yes, my lords. They do not fight like any species we know, and yet they did not pursue us. They did not gloat. They simply stood their ground." A silence fell over the chamber. The idea was almost impossible to accept. The human calm, meanwhile, across 100,000 kilometers of space. Admiral Sarah Cade sat quietly on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn. "Captain Liu," she said softly, "do you think they'll come back?" "They will," Liu replied. "No empire forgets such humiliation. They will return stronger, angrier." Sarah nodded. "Then we must be ready. But remember, humans are more than weapons. We are thinkers, explorers, and dreamers. The moment they return, it will not only be a test of strength. It will be a test of strategy, patience, and understanding." Liu smiled. "And do you think they understand that yet?" Sarah shook her head. "Not yet. They only see what we appear to be. They cannot see what humanity is capable of." Around them, the human fleet maintained its formation. They drifted silently, almost like shadows. Yet their presence filled the void with quiet authority. Imperial analysis back in the Imperial capital. The Council summoned the galaxy's greatest minds to study the humans. Ships that survived the battle were dissected in simulation, and every known method of analysis was used. But each attempt failed. The Empire's scientists discovered energy shields beyond comprehension, movement beyond light-speed tracking, and weapons that could erase targets without fire. Every theory they applied broke under the reality of what humans had done. "Sir," said a young scientist to Zorvac, "their hulls are adaptive. Even when we know their defenses, they adjust instantly. It is as if the ships themselves think." Zorvac's tail twitched with irritation. "Think ships cannot think." "Perhaps," the scientist replied carefully, "but they respond as if aware. Every attack is neutralized before it reaches them. They calculate faster than any computer we possess," the Council murmured in disbelief. "This is dangerous," Zorvac said. "We cannot treat them as just another race. They are something else." A proposal for diplomacy. Despite their arrogance, some councilors suggested diplomacy. A representative from the High Council spoke with caution. "If we strike again, the humans will show their full capability. Perhaps it is wiser to negotiate, to send envoys, test their intentions, and learn what they seek." Zorvac shook his head. "Negotiation is weakness. We are the Empire. We demand submission." But the evidence was clear, and the humans did not fight like other species. They did not attack recklessly. They were patient, measured, and strangely confident. Humans prepare for the future. Aboard the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Cade called a meeting with her senior officers. "They will study us now," she said. "Every move we made will be analyzed. They may send messages, spies, or even disguised ships. We must anticipate every possible scenario." Lieutenant Harper frowned. "Do we respond?" "Only if necessary," Cade said. "Our first priority is the safety of our people and the integrity of our fleet. Diplomacy, patience, and careful observation will serve us better than unnecessary attacks." Commander Liu leaned forward. "They think they're the superior power. Let them. Our strength is not only in our ships but in how we use them, our strategy, coordination, and creativity." Cade smiled faintly. "Exactly. Humanity does not rush. We wait and we adapt. And when the time comes, we act decisively." The first diplomatic contact days later, a small Imperial envoy ship approached the human fleet. Its exterior was sleek and intimidating, its weapons minimal but precise. The message it carried was clear. "We wish to understand." Sarah Cade ordered the ship to be hailed. "Open a comm channel," she said. The Imperial voice came through, measured and cautious. "Humans of Earth, we have studied your actions. You destroyed our fleet with minimal force. Your technology is unlike anything we have seen. We wish to communicate." Cade regarded the voice calmly. "We are willing to communicate. But know this, humanity does not seek conquest. We protect ourselves. We explore. We will defend our worlds, and we will not bow to threats." The Imperial ship's crew was silent, processing the words. The calm authority of the humans surprised them. They had expected fear, submission, or panic, but none came. Lessons in patience back in the Imperial capital, Council members debated. Some argued that the humans must be eliminated before they grew stronger. Others warned that an attack could provoke humanity into something far worse. Zorvac, still humiliated, argued fiercely. "We cannot bow to humans. We are the Empire. We are invincible!" A council elder spoke softly. "Invincibility is an illusion. You saw it yourself. Humans are patient, they plan, they act decisively when the time is right. Underestimating them would be our greatest mistake. Zorvak's pride bristled, but he could not argue with the facts. The human philosophy aboard the Resolute Dawn, Cade held a meeting with her officers. They will study us, learn our methods, and perhaps try to intimidate us again. We must be ready, not just with weapons, but with strategy, knowledge, and patience. Lieutenant Harper asked, "Do you think they'll attack again soon?" Sarah shook her head. "Not yet. They need to learn respect first. And respect is earned through action and restraint. We have already shown them strength. Next, we show them wisdom." Commander Liu nodded. "They underestimate us because they cannot see the whole picture." "Exactly," Cade replied. "Humanity is more than ships and weapons. It is creativity, adaptability, and courage. That is why they chuckle when they first meet us, because they think we are just another species, and that will be their mistake." Quiet training and preparation. The human fleet spent the next weeks in the outer reaches of Orion Arm, not far from the regions where the Empire had first attacked. During this time, the humans trained, studied, and refined their tactics. New formations were tested. Defensive fields were strengthened. Communication protocols became faster, clearer, and more secure. The crew of the Resolute Dawn worked tirelessly. Every officer and soldier knew that the Empire would not forget, and would certainly return. Yet amid the preparation, there was laughter and camaraderie. Humans told stories, shared jokes, and maintained morale. Their confidence was not arrogance. It was the quiet certainty of people who had learned to survive, adapt, and excel against impossible odds. The Empire watches, from afar. Imperial analysts observed every human movement. They tried to decipher the new fleet formations, the calm responses, the strange efficiency of the human systems. But every attempt failed. Humans moved unpredictably, yet precisely. Their ships adapted to simulations faster than the Empire could predict. Every plan the Empire devised seemed to encounter a new twist that humans anticipated without effort. Zorvak's anger grew. How can they be so precise and yet so calm? His second officer answered cautiously. They do not act out of fear, Admiral, or pride. They act because they understand themselves and the situation fully. We cannot match that with our usual force. Zorvak clenched his claws. He had always believed that fear and intimidation were enough. Now he saw that the humans required a different approach, one he was not ready to admit. A new respect. For the first time, some counselors began to see humans differently. They were no longer just a primitive species to dominate. They were strong, patient, and intelligent. Their strength was quiet yet undeniable, and somewhere across the void, the humans chuckled quietly among themselves. The galaxy was learning a new lesson. Never underestimate humanity. Even as the Imperial fleet retreated, even as the Council debated, even as Zorvak plotted revenge, the humans remained calm, patient, and ready, because when humans chuckle, it is never empty. It is the sound of those who understand power, patience, and strategy. And the next encounter, and when it came, would change the galaxy forever. The stars were quiet, but tension filled the void. The Galactic Empire had returned, stronger than before. Word of their previous defeat had spread through the Imperial ranks like wildfire. Billions of voices demanded revenge. Grand Admiral Zorvak led an armada more powerful than the one destroyed weeks earlier. 3,000 ships, armored and armed to the teeth. Zorvak's eyes burned with pride and fury as he surveyed his fleet. This time, he growled, they will learn what it means to face the Empire. On the human side, Admiral Sarah Cade watched the approaching fleet from the Resolute Dawn. The human officers had been expecting this moment. Their fleet had grown, reinforced by the outer colonies and the latest experimental ships. Every vessel gleamed with the same quiet authority that had frightened the Empire before. Admiral, Lieutenant Harper said, they're faster this time. Almost twice the number of ships, Sarah nodded calmly. Numbers alone do not win battles. Strategy, patience, and adaptability win battles. Prepare the fleet. This will be the moment we show them humanity's full strength. The Empire strikes first. The Imperial fleet moved in perfect formation. Energy weapons glowed, ready to fire. Zorvak's voice rang through the comm channels. Humans, you defied us before. This time there will be no mercy.
Fire at will!
Plasma beams, kinetic slugs, and charged energy lances tore across the void. Thousands of Imperial ships unleashed torrents of destruction simultaneously. On the human side, the fleet held formation, silent and calm. The shields absorbed the attacks effortlessly. Not a single ship was damaged. Energy pulses dissipated in mid-space, absorbed by the quantum matrices surrounding each vessel. Impact absorbed, hull stable, reported Lieutenant Harper, almost cheerfully. Good, Sarah said. Let them waste their strength. Their arrogance will be their downfall. The human ships drifted gracefully, almost as if mocking the Empire's frantic assault, and in the bridge a few officers quietly chuckled. The counterattack begins. Then came the first human strike. The resolute Dawn released a single pulse of blue energy. It was almost invisible, a gentle wave of pure quantum force. Yet when it struck the nearest Imperial cruiser, the effect was devastating. The cruiser vanished, not exploded, not burned, simply gone. A silent erasure, leaving only empty space. Zorvac froze. What did they do? Sir, shouted Captain Relar, Ship 9. Gone, the pulse. It's instantaneous. But the humans did not stop. One by one, small pulses radiated from their vessels, targeting only the ships actively attacking. Imperial formations began to collapse, rows of ships disappearing in seconds. Zorvac's fury was now mingled with fear. Target them all. Fire everything. Every beam, every missile, every charged particle was met with an invisible wall. The human fleet moved with fluid precision, never overlapping, never wasting energy. Every ship acted as part of a single organism, perfectly coordinated. The battle escalates. The battle stretched across light years of space. Beams crisscrossed the darkness, creating a dazzling yet silent display. Imperial ships fired relentlessly, but the humans responded without panic. Admiral Cade watched the map display. Focus on their strongest ships first, she ordered. Don't waste energy on expendable vessels. The resolute Dawn glided forward, and pulses of energy targeted Zorvac's flagship. The Dominion's wrath flickered under the attack. Alarm screamed across its bridge. Zorvac's claws gripped the command console. How can this be happening? Our weapons are superior. Our numbers are unmatched. How are they doing this? Science officers frantically scanned the field. Admiral, they are calculating every move before we can complete it. Their systems anticipate ours. It's impossible, but for the humans it was simple. Strategy, coordination, and advanced technology combined into a single, unstoppable force. They did not panic. They did not shout. They did not falter. They adapted. A display of humanity. Admiral Cade decided to show the Empire the true capability of humanity. Commander Liu, she said, initiate the Starwave formation. Within moments, hundreds of human ships moved into a new pattern. Like water flowing around rocks, they shifted silently, folding space around them to appear in unexpected positions. Pulses of energy now targeted groups of Imperial ships with perfect precision. Entire squadrons vanished in seconds. The Empire's pride and confidence crumbled before their eyes. Ships that had once been symbols of fear were now gone, leaving empty voids in their wake. Zorvac's fury was now uncontrollable. Fire everything. Every ship, every weapon. Destroy them all. The remaining human ships responded with calm precision. Every Imperial attack was absorbed, deflected, or neutralized. For every 1,000 shots the Empire fired, only one human pulse was needed to erase a single vessel. And still, the humans did not celebrate. They only smiled quietly, as if the galaxy were a puzzle they were enjoying. The turning point. The battle reached its peak. Imperial ships were falling faster than they could fire. Morale collapsed. Officers began to question the wisdom of continuing the fight. Zorvac's voice, once full of confidence, now trembled. Fall back, regroup. Retreat. But the humans did not pursue. They did not gloat. They held formation, steady and calm. Their energy fields glowed faintly in the void, a serene light amidst chaos. Sarah Cade observed the retreating fleet. Let them go, she said softly. We are defenders, not conquerors. They have learned their lesson, without us taking a single life unnecessarily. Commander Liu nodded. They'll remember this forever, Lieutenant Harper added, and they'll think twice before attacking anyone else. Aftermath in space. When the Imperial fleet disappeared into hyperspace, only a fraction of the original armada remained. Billions of voices across the Empire cried out in disbelief and fear. They had never witnessed such power. They had never faced a species that could erase ships silently, control energy beyond imagination, and act with such calm precision. Zorvac stared at the stars, silent for the first time in his life. His pride was broken. The Empire had met humanity, and it had only laughed in their faces. Back on the human fleet, no celebration erupted. No banners waved. The crew maintained formation, returning toward their command points. Quietly, efficiently, humanity continued its work, protecting its own and exploring the stars. Admiral Cade looked at the fading lights of the Empire's ships. "This was necessary," she said softly. "We have shown the galaxy who we are, not through anger, not through conquest, but through discipline, skill, and restraint. A new reputation across the galaxy, the humans' actions spread like a ripple. Word reached distant planets, trading posts, and colonies. The legend of the human fleet that could erase the Empire's armada with silent pulses of energy grew quickly. Alien races began to whisper about humans differently. They were no longer a curious species on the galactic outskirts. They were strategists, thinkers, and warriors unlike any other. Even within the Empire, whispers turned to fear. Could they rebuild their fleet? Could they face the humans again? Every officer who survived the battle now had to consider the impossible. Humans were not a species to conquer lightly. The human philosophy shines on the bridge of the resolute dawn. Sarah Cade gathered her officers. "They will be studying us for decades," she said. "They will send envoys, spies, and messages. Every move we made will be analyzed. And that is fine. Knowledge is meant to be shared and strength is meant to be understood." Lieutenant Harper asked, "Do we respond to their studies, Admiral?" Cade shook her head. "Not yet. Observation is key. Let them learn respect first. And respect is earned through patience, skill, and courage. Humanity has done so today without taking lives unnecessarily." Commander Liu smiled. "They'll be back." "Yes," Cade said. "But next time they will return with respect. And that is a victory in itself." The fleet moved silently through the void, leaving the remnants of the Imperial Armada behind. No cheers, no shouting. Only the calm, quiet presence of humanity asserting itself among the stars. Somewhere in the galaxy, one phrase began to spread among alien races. When humans chuckle, something impossible is about to happen. And for the human crew, that chuckle was more than amusement. It was confidence. It was patience. It was a promise. Humanity would protect its own, and no force, no matter how mighty, would be allowed to threaten the galaxy unchecked. The stars shimmered quietly, like witnesses to the events that had just unfolded. The Galactic Empire had retreated, its mighty fleet shattered or humiliated, its officers shaken to the core. Across billions of worlds, beings who had once believed themselves invincible now whispered the same question. Who are these humans? Aboard the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Sarah Cade stood silently by the main view window. The faint glow of distant stars reflected in her eyes as she watched the remnants of the Imperial fleet disappear into hyperspace. Her officers gathered around, tired but composed. "They'll be thinking about this for a long time," said Commander Liu. "They will," Cade replied, "and that is exactly what we want them to do." Lieutenant Harper frowned slightly. "Admiral, what now?" "They will regroup. They might return with reinforcements. Should we prepare for another attack?" Cade turned toward her crew, her expression calm yet resolute. "We prepare, yes, but not with fear. With knowledge, strategy, and unity. Humanity does not fight out of panic or pride. We fight to protect what matters and to ensure the future is safe." Her words settled over the bridge like a warm light. Each officer understood the truth. Victory was not measured in destruction alone, but in the strength, patience, and intelligence used to achieve it. A message across the stars while the humans regrouped. The Empire's leadership convened an emergency session. Grand Admiral Zorvac faced the council once again. "My lords," he began, "the humans are unlike any species we have ever encountered. Their fleet is not only powerful, it is intelligent, adaptable, and precise. Conventional weapons cannot harm them. Our attack failed completely, and our pride has been shattered." The council listened in stunned silence. Some members suggested sending envoys immediately, fearing that continued aggression would provoke even more destruction. Others demanded vengeance, insisting that no species should be allowed to mock the Empire so openly. Finally, a wise elder counselor spoke. They do not seek to conquer. They do not seek to destroy. We cannot match them in arrogance, firepower, or strategy. Perhaps the time has come to learn from them, or at least to respect them. Zorvak's jaw tightened. Respect? He growled. We have never had to respect anyone before. The counselor's eyes were calm. Perhaps humanity is the first species that deserves it. The human approach to diplomacy. Meanwhile, Admiral Cade had already prepared humanity's response. A communication beacon was activated, sending a clear, peaceful message to the Empire. We do not seek war. Humanity seeks peace, exploration, and understanding. Our fleets defend only what we hold dear. We will not bow to threats, but we do not strike without cause. Learn from this encounter, and know that respect is the path forward. The message was received with astonishment. Across the Imperial command channels, officers paused. Never before had a race met the Empire's fleet with such calm authority. The words themselves carried a weight far greater than any weapon. The lessons learned on Earth, humanity's colonies across Mars, the Moon, and the outer settlements celebrated quietly. Not with arrogance, but with recognition of what had been achieved. For decades, humans had prepared in secret. Advanced technologies, unified fleets, and disciplined crews. All that preparation had been tested and proven correct. Sarah Cade walked through the fleet, observing officers as they completed checks, performed maintenance, and quietly discussed strategies. Their morale was high, but no one celebrated recklessly. They had faced the Empire, and had proven that humanity was not to be underestimated. You've done well, she told Commander Lou. Every ship, every crew member, every tactic worked perfectly. Humanity's reputation has changed forever. Lou nodded. It is not just reputation, Admiral. We've shown the galaxy what humans truly are. Cade smiled softly. Yes, but remember, strength is not only in firepower. Our restraint, our patience, and our ability to think and adapt are just as important. The Empire's response. In the days that followed, the Empire struggled to recover. Billions of Imperial citizens watched the footage of their lost ships and the calm, unyielding human fleet. Across worlds, discussions and debates filled halls and forums. Humans cannot be destroyed easily, said one commander. Their ships erase ours with precision. Their tactics are beyond comprehension. Another officer argued, we must attack again. Show them our true power. A voice from the council cut through the room. No. If we strike now, we will face even greater losses. We must learn respect first. Perhaps humanity can teach us something, if we are willing to listen. The Empire's arrogance was tempered. The galaxy began to take note. Humans were not just another species. They were explorers, defenders, thinkers, and warriors unmatched in both strategy and wisdom. Humanity's philosophy. Back on the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Cade addressed her fleet. This encounter will be remembered, she said. The Empire may return, other species may test us, but humanity has proven one truth. We do not seek destruction. We do not strike recklessly. We defend, we explore, and we adapt. That is our greatest strength. Her officers nodded in agreement. Their training had prepared them not only for battle, but for the responsibility of being a force the galaxy respected. Harper asked, do you think they'll come back? Cade smiled faintly. Perhaps. But when they do, they will return with respect, not arrogance, and humanity will be ready, not just with technology, but with wisdom and courage. The crew understood. Their confidence was quiet yet unshakable. A message of peace humanity sent envoys to the Empire. These were not armed fleets, but representatives of diplomacy, science, and exploration. Their goal was not conquest, but understanding. The Imperial Council received the humans with caution, unsure whether to trust them. But the humans spoke with honesty, clarity, and calm authority. Admiral Cade addressed the assembly. Humanity does not seek to dominate the galaxy. We defend ourselves and our allies. We explore, learn, and cooperate. Respect and understanding create peace. This is our gift and our promise. The Council listened, astounded. No species had ever spoken with such confidence and humility at the same time. The galaxy takes note across the stars. Reports of humanity's actions spread quickly. Merchants, explorers, and diplomats told stories of the silent human fleet. The pulses of energy that erased ships without destruction, and the calm authority that had shaken the mightiest empire in the galaxy. Alien species began to approach humans not with fear, but with cautious respect. Treaties, alliances, and trade agreements were offered. Humanity had proven that it was not only strong, but wise enough to be a trusted partner. Even within the Empire, the story of the human fleet became a lesson. Officers and scientists alike studied humanity, seeking to understand how such a species could combine power, strategy, and restraint. Zorvak, once proud and arrogant, now reflected quietly on the encounter. He realized that humanity was not merely a species to fight or conquer. They were a force the galaxy would always respect. The human legacy Admiral Cade stood once more on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, looking at the stars stretching into the unknown. "They will remember us," she said softly, "not because we destroyed their fleet, but because we acted with wisdom, patience, and restraint. That is the true measure of humanity." Commander Lu smiled. "And when they tell the stories, they will tell them correctly, well, that humans do not only fight, but think, plan, and protect what they love." Cade nodded. "Yes, humanity's strength is not just in technology. It is in our courage, our wisdom, and our unity. That is what the galaxy will never forget." The fleet moved quietly through the stars. No celebration, no shouting, and only the calm, steady presence of humanity asserting itself among the stars. And somewhere across the galaxy, one phrase began to echo among alien worlds. "When humans chuckle, something impossible is about to happen." It was no longer just a saying. It was a warning. A bright future months passed, and humanity continued to expand its presence peacefully. Colonies on distant planets flourished. Explorers mapped unknown regions. Scientists and engineers shared discoveries that advanced not only humanity, but the galaxy. The Empire rebuilt its fleets, but with caution. They had learned humility. They had learned that some powers were beyond brute force and that patience, strategy, and wisdom could change the course of history. Admiral Cade received messages from distant worlds, inviting humans to share knowledge and collaborate. Humanity had become not just survivors or warriors, but teachers and partners. The human fleet remained vigilant, ready to defend if needed, but always seeking understanding first. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humans were not to be ignored. Humans could chuckle in the face of danger and make the impossible happen.